In the late 1970s, former GM executive John DeLorean walked onto the stage of a New York trade show with a bold claim: he would build a car that looked like a spaceship, ran on fuel-efficient engines, and could be produced for less than $5,000 a unit. His charisma and vision captured headlines, setting the stage for an automotive experiment that would soon become a cautionary tale. The American auto market at that time was reeling from the 1973 oil crisis. Consumers wanted smaller, more efficient vehicles, yet they also craved style and performance. Japanese manufacturers were delivering both, putting pressure on the big three. DeLorean saw a gap: a sleek, futuristic car that could satisfy both fuel concerns and the desire for a status symbol. To turn his dream into reality, DeLorean secured a $120 million loan guarantee from the U.S. Department of Commerce, backed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Private banks also pledged $30 million in working capital. The government guarantee meant that if DeLorean defaulted, taxpayers would foot the bill, a risk that later sparked political outrage. Choosing Northern Ireland for the factory was strategic. The British government offered generous tax breaks and a promise of 2,500 jobs in a region plagued by unemployment. A massive 19-acre site in Dunmurry was cleared, and local workers were recruited, creating a wave of optimism in the community. Production began in early 1981. The DM72 featured a stainless steel body that never needed repainting, gullwing doors, and a modest 2.85-liter V6 engine. Priced at $25,000, it was marketed as an affordable sports car, an audacious claim given the high cost of the exotic materials and tooling. Initial demand was driven more by hype than by orders. Auto magazines ran glossy spreads, and the car appeared on TV commercials. However, actual sales fell short. Only about 6,000 units were sold in the first year, far below the 20,000 needed to cover overhead and loan repayments. Cost overruns quickly mounted. The stainless steel panels required specialized welding, labor costs in Northern Ireland were higher than projected, and quality control problems led to rework. Unsold inventory piled up, and cash flow tightened as the company burned through its capital faster than revenue could replace it. By mid-1982, the Department of Commerce launched an audit, accusing DeLorean of failing to meet the loan's production and employment targets. The SEC opened a separate investigation into possible securities fraud, adding legal pressure to an already strained balance sheet. In a dramatic twist, DeLorean was arrested in October 1982 on charges of conspiring to traffic cocaine to raise cash for the failing company. The trial captured worldwide attention. He was acquitted of drug charges but found guilty of customs violations, further eroding investor confidence. Within weeks of the arrest, the company filed for bankruptcy. The Dunmurry plant shut down, leaving roughly 2,000 workers jobless. Creditors seized assets, and the iconic stainless steel bodies were sold for scrap. The government's $120 million guarantee was written off, sparking debates over corporate bailouts. Despite the collapse, the DM72 achieved cult status thanks to its starring role in the 1985 film Back to the Future. Several revival attempts surfaced in the 1990s and 2000s, but none could overcome the financial baggage and tarnished brand reputation left by the original venture. The DeLorean saga shows how a charismatic vision, massive government support, and aggressive expansion can turn into financial chaos when realistic cost structures and market demand are ignored. It reminds us that even the flashiest product cannot survive without solid fundamentals and disciplined financing.